And so eventually he was arrested for driving under the influence.
Yes.
I do know for a fact the driver was a skinnier guy wearing lighter colored denim jeans.
He's 240 pounds, right?
Correct.
At no point did you or any other officer try and find any camera footage from that gas station, right?
To my knowledge.
A man is arrested for driving under the influence after officers find him near a truck that's crashed into a utility pole. He's never asked if he was driving. He tells hospital staff on camera that he wasn't. And the one witness who actually saw the crash happen described the driver as a thin man in light denim jeans. Nothing like the 240-pound man police arrested.
It's been filed, as well as a motion to dismiss. Violation with regard to those motions. Are the people ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
All right, people can call their witness.
Thank you, Judge. People call Sean Jones to the stand.
Sir, good afternoon. If you could come on up here to the witness stand, please. And if you would raise your right hand.
Okay, officer, could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record for us?
My name is Officer Sean Jones, last name Jones.
And Officer Jones, were you working on September 20th, 2025, the overnight shift?
Yes.
And around 1:58 a.m., you were dispatched to 6065 West 48th Avenue?
Yes.
Okay, and that was regarding some type of ready report.
Yes.
Okay, now as you were being dispatched, do you remember hearing a description of the individual that you might be contacting?
Yes.
Okay. Do you hear the description that the individual male just stepped out of the vehicle? He was wearing a dark shirt and light colored jeans.
Yes, I believe that's what it states.
Now, talk to me a little bit about when you arrived. What did you observe?
I observed, I believe, a Dodge Ram. It looked like it was caught up in an electric pole. I'm not sure the specific verbiage for the wires that were stuck in the tire, but I remember when I was walking up, I believed what I saw were alcohol containers because I believe the doors were open, and I saw a black male on the passenger side near the front passenger wheel, who I believe was wearing white shorts and a dark shirt to start off.
And that that description, did that match the description of the ready reporter gave?
I believe the dark shirt and light colored pants would match, at least for my arrival. Those were my thoughts, yes.
You were the first officer to arrive on scene?
Yes.
Okay. The first officer to speak with Mr. Bowers?
Yes.
There was nobody else in the vicinity when you arrived?
I don't believe so, no. I mean, maybe people at the gas station, but I was the only officer, and I believe he was the only person near the truck.
Near the truck. Okay. So you contacted Ryan Brown, the reporting party in this case?
Yes.
Via phone?
Yes.
Okay. And what did he tell you about what he observed?
I believe he was detailed in what he observed with the truck, with the tires skidding, and basically it seemed like this vehicle was trying to leave while being stuck in a utility pole.
And when you asked for a further description of the male, he said he couldn't tell if the male was Hispanic.
I believe so.
He also told you that he could have been wearing really long white shorts.
I believe so, yes.
And furthermore, he did tell you he thought there may have been a passenger involved. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes. I think he mentioned something about there could have been a second person, but I don't believe he articulated much further on that.
Right. He essentially said that he was 50-50 on it. He didn't actually know.
Yes.
And so it became pretty clear to officers on scene that Mr. Bowers was intoxicated.
Yes.
And also became clear on scene from you and other officers that Mr. Bowers was the driver of the vehicle.
That's what I believed when I was on scene.
And so eventually he was arrested for driving under the influence.
As you describe him in your report and as you described him on direct examination, he is a black male, right?
Yes.
Okay. Having met Mr. Bowers, you also know about other ways to describe him, right?
Yes.
Okay. You would describe him as kind of below average in height, right? He's about 5 feet, 7 inches tall or so.
I don't recall his height.
Okay. Would you agree with me that he's not abnormally tall?
Yes.
Okay. You would also agree with me, I assume, that he's not fat, anything like that, but he's slightly overweight, right?
In my eyes, I'd say medium build, but sure.
Okay. Medium build, but not thin. That's not how you would describe him, right?
No.
Okay. I want to put aside that photograph. You, on direct examination, talked about the lighting at the gas station that day, right?
Yes.
And you said that there was actually a lot of artificial light, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. There might not have been light in the surrounding area, like where Mr. Brown, the reporting party, was calling from, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. But you do recall that the gas station itself, that was illuminated for anybody to look onto it, right?
I just recall artificial lighting at some point while I was on scene where I was able to see certain things because of the artificial lighting.
Wheat Ridge Police Department. Hey, Wheat Ridge Police Department. How's it going? You all right? Yeah, what's going on?
2:03 a.m. and 46 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when we look at that body worn camera, we see a little bit of that, a lot of it of that artificial lighting that you were talking about on direct examination, right?
Yes.
When you talk about artificial lighting, you're talking about, it looks like there's maybe 6 at least lights that are underneath the canopy of the Shell gas station, right?
Yes.
And then before where we're paused in this video, we also saw a couple street lights, right?
Yes.
And the truck that you found at that Shell gas station, it was almost directly underneath those streetlights, right?
Yes.
So the truck itself was illuminated by that artificial lighting, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's possible that his line of sight would have been obstructed by other cars, right?
Potentially.
But you said potentially, because as you acknowledged on direct examination, it wasn't really a crowded night out there, right?
Yeah.
There weren't a lot of cars on the road that would have obstructed the line of sight that Mr. Brown would have had to the gas station, right?
I don't believe so, no.
You approached the car initially on its driver's side, right?
Yes.
And that's because you were looking for a driver, right?
Yes.
Mr. Brown was describing somebody kind of revving the engine, trying to make the car go, trying to get it unstuck, right?
Yes.
But when you went to the driver's side, you didn't find anybody in the driver's seat, right?
No.
You did find the person who you later identified as Mr. Bowers, right?
Yes.
But he was on the passenger side of the car, right?
Yes.
And he was from the moment that you came to the scene, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then you wanted to speak with the reporting party, right?
I believe so, yes.
And that was Mr. Brown.
Yes.
While you spoke with Mr. Brown, your body worn camera was on, right?
I believe so.
So it would have captured that conversation that you described on direct examination.
And then looked out, and guys in the pickup truck looked like they were stuck on the down guy, the wire that attaches to the pole, that stabilizes it.
Yeah. And did you see what the driver looked like?
I know he was wearing light colored pants with a darker shirt, and it looked like it was maybe a sweatshirt with light pants, skinny guy.
I'm not sure.
And was the what, I guess, ethnic background would you think he was?
I really couldn't say. I want to say maybe Hispanic. Just the quick look I had.
So,
All right. And how far are you from when you saw this?
About 100 feet, I would say.
About 100 feet. Okay, 100 feet, dark. It's hard to tell.
I live right next to the gas station.
Okay, cool.
okay.
How many people did you see at the truck?
2, I think. It looked like the driver got out for a minute, and what I seen is light pants and like a dark sweater, and it looked like he was taking a leak at his door.
Okay. So you think there's two? Did you see a description for the second male?
No, not really. I thought I seen something in the back window. I could see someone on the side, in the passenger seat.
And passengers. Okay. Did you see if that person left?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. Just curious because there's only one person, so I guess, like, how certain are you that there were two people?
I'd say 50-50, but
Okay.
I do know for a fact the driver was a skinnier guy wearing lighter colored denim jeans with a dark
incident has been
sweater.
updated.
Like a black sweatshirt, long sleeve, and he was skinnier.
Okay.
That's all I seen.
Okay.
Then I kind of tried to mind my own business, I guess.
Oh, but you're saying the driver was a skinnier Hispanic male wearing wearing light colored pants and a darker shirt or sweater.
Yep. He got out of the driver's side door, right, and it looked like he was taking a leak. So
Okay.
he may have been just looking at the wire, but he didn't go past his driver's door.
Okay, and you don't know if he had left the scene before police got here?
I do not.
Okay.
No.
Okay, so we just listened to the phone call that you had with Mr. Brown on September 20th of 2025. It was about 5 minutes and 30 seconds long, and it ended at 2:13 a.m., 5 seconds in. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about that phone call a little bit. Near the end of it, you asked Mr. Brown if he saw the person who the police encountered, right?
Yes.
Okay, and he said that he did see the police interact with someone, right?
Yes.
Brown, Mr. Bowers, as we saw on your body-worn camera footage earlier, he was wearing really long shorts, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the person that Mr. Brown was talking about seeing y'all interact with, right?
More than likely, yes.
Okay. He didn't describe the driver in the same terms that he described the person that police were interacting with, right?
Correct.
He described the driver as wearing white pants, right?
Yes.
And
light colored pants, yes.
Light colored pants. And then he never bridged the gap saying, oh yeah, the guy that I was describing before in these light pants, that's the same guy who I saw in light shorts, right? He never bridged that gap.
Correct.
Okay. He also described kind of the build of the driver, right?
Yes.
Earlier on cross-examination, you told me that you thought that Mr. Bowers was kind of medium build, right?
Yes.
Mr. Brown described the driver as a skinny guy, right?
Correct.
And he said that he, with respect to that person's ethnicity, thought that he was maybe Hispanic, right?
Correct.
And Mr. Bowers is not someone who you would immediately identify as Hispanic, right?
Correct.
I have no further questions for this witness.
Now, Officer Jones, you were the first officer to arrive on scene once again. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And we just watched a clip of you speaking to the reporting party, Mr. Brown, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that pole that it's hooked up to is a pretty tall pole to run along. The officer showed up. Hold on. Yep, perfect. Let me know, guys. Does it look like they flew him? Yep, they got their lights on. So, okay, perfect.
Okay, so what we heard there was he was describing to the dispatcher that he had been spinning the tire for about 15 minutes or so, right?
Yes.
And then at the very end of that 911 call, you hear Mr. Brown say something to the effect of, oh, law enforcement has arrived on scene.
Yes.
Okay. And I've already asked you this twice, but just after watching that now, just to clarify, you were the first officer to arrive on scene.
Yes.
And nobody else was in the vicinity anywhere near the car, in fact, other than the defendant in this case.
Correct.
All right. No further questions.
Anything based on that, Mr. Nikon?
Under 106, I'd like to play a particular portion of the call. I didn't hear it come in. It was hard for me to hear. I just want to make sure that we get it in its full context.
Sure.
Yes, and it looks like he's wearing like a light colored jeans. He just stepped out. I don't know if he's peeing or what.
And on redirect examination, the prosecutor asked if Mr. Brown kind of remained on the phone with the police until you arrived, right?
Yes.
And he asked about how that individual was skidding their tires for like 15 minutes leading up to your arrival, right?
Correct.
Okay. He says that he steps out and then he gives a description, right?
Yes.
He says that he's wearing pants, right?
Yes.
He says that he's wearing a sweater, right?
Yes.
And then the phone call goes on for another 2 minutes or so, right?
I believe so.
Okay. So about 2 minutes before you arrived on scene, that's when the driver stepped out, right?
I'm unsure. If what you're telling me is true with the timeline, then it sounds like yes.
Okay. Something like that, as far as there were at least a couple minutes between the time that the driver got out and the time that you arrived, right?
Okay.
Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Under Colorado law, officers can only demand a chemical test, what this hearing calls invoking express consent, if they already have probable cause to believe the person was driving. It's not enough to have probable cause that someone was intoxicated. Colorado courts evaluate probable cause under a totality of the circumstances test, meaning every fact, not just the convenient ones, gets weighed together. Here, the truck was registered to the defendant. That's real evidence. But the eyewitness described a thin man in light jeans, and the defendant is 240 pounds. The witness said he saw two people. No officer ever went back to the gas station, with multiple working cameras, to check for footage that could have settled the question entirely.
If you would raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony you give before this court shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please be seated.
And on September 20th, 2025, about 2 a.m., 2:04 a.m., you responded to a motor vehicle crash.
Yes, I did.
6065 West 48th Avenue.
Correct.
Okay, and when you arrived on scene, you spoke to individual Caleb Bowers.
I did.
Okay, and you realized that the truck that was involved in the motor vehicle crash belonged and was registered to Mr. Bowers.
Correct.
Right, okay. Tell me a little bit about Mr. Bowers' intoxication.
When I arrived on scene, I noticed he was at the rear of his truck. His intoxication, it was immediate. I was able to tell immediately that he was intoxicated based off of what I observed from his eyes and the scent from his breath.
There was an odor of alcohol coming from his breath.
Correct.
And Mr. Bowers told you that he actually couldn't stand up
That's correct.
and had extremely slurred speech.
Yes.
Okay, what did he tell you about what happened?
He said he didn't know. He did not know.
Did you ask him about the truck?
I did.
Okay. What did he tell you about the truck?
Told me it wasn't registered to him or that it wasn't his truck. Something along those lines.
But you had already cleared that it wasn't, in fact, his truck. It was registered to him.
Correct.
Okay. You asked him if he had, or somebody along the lines asked him if he had been drinking, right?
Correct.
And he denied any alcohol consumption.
Correct.
And at no point during any of these conversations, brief or not, that you had with Mr. Bowers, did he tell you that he was with anybody?
He did not.
Okay. Did Mr. Bowers tell you that he was a passenger in the car?
Not that I can recall.
Okay. When you were arresting him, he didn't tell you anything about why he shouldn't be arrested because he wasn't the driver.
Correct.
How would you describe what he was wearing that day?
I remember he was wearing a darker colored top, lighter colored bottoms. I believe they were shorts.
Shorts, but were they like long shorts?
They were pretty long, yes.
Okay. And they were lightish color?
Correct.
Whitish color? And do you remember the shirt? Was it like a navy-ish?
It was a darker navy blue type of color, yes.
Is it fair to say that the navy colored shirt blended in with his skin color?
Yes.
Officer Adame, on direct examination, you testified that at no point Mr. Bowers said that there was a different driver, right?
I can recall, I don't believe he mentioned there was another driver.
Okay. You had your body worn camera on throughout your interaction with Mr. Bowers, right?
Correct.
Hey, you were driving the car? Were you wearing your seatbelt?
The bus.
Say that again?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Were you walking around after the accident?
Just watch some body worn camera footage from that day, right?
Correct.
Okay. And in that, Mr. Bowers, he's on the body worn camera footage, right?
Correct.
And he's speaking with hospital staff, right?
Correct.
And they ask him if he was driving, right?
They did.
That's a question that you never asked Mr. Bowers, right?
Correct.
When they asked him if he was driving, he said, no, he was not driving, right?
Correct.
Then they asked him if he was wearing his seatbelt, right?
Yes.
And he said, yes, sir, right?
Correct.
Then they asked him if there was a different driver, right?
Correct.
And he confirmed that there was a different driver, right?
He said there wasn't.
Okay. He said there was to hospital staff.
Or sorry, there was. I meant, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Tired. It's been
Just to
since
make
3
it
a.m.
crystal clear,
Yes,
he
sir.
said that there was another driver and that he was not the driver. You'd agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. In the ticket and the police reports that you wrote, you had to describe Mr. Bowers, right?
Correct.
And you described him as a black male, right?
Yes.
Because he is a kind of darker skinned African American man. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You also had to describe his height, right?
Correct.
And he's below average in height. He's 5 feet 7 inches, right?
Yes.
As far as his weight goes, he's 240 pounds, right?
Correct.
Okay. On that same report, you had the opportunity to jot down whether there was any injury, right?
Yes.
Or any illness, right?
Yes.
And you didn't write anything there, right?
I don't remember, but if I didn't, then yeah.
Permission to approach.
Yes, I did not write anything there.
Back to any injury or illness, because to your knowledge, Mr. Bowers wasn't injured, right? And he wasn't ill.
From what I understood. Correct.
Okay. From what you could tell, just even looking at him, he didn't have any cuts on his person, any like bloody throw up down, running down his shirt, nothing
Correct.
like that, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Didn't have any blood on him whatsoever.
Correct.
Mr. Bowers said within your earshot, as we saw in that body worn camera footage, that he was not the driver, right?
Yes.
When you found that out, did you or any other officer go to the Shell gas station?
Not that I can recall. I know I didn't,
Mhm.
but I don't know if anyone else did.
Okay. No one went back to the Shell gas station to learn whether there was any camera footage that would have depicted the crash, right?
I don't know if anyone went back or not.
Okay. Had you been to that gas station before?
I have.
Okay. And you've probably been to a lot of gas stations just as a human being, right?
Correct.
So you're aware as a police officer, but then also just as a human being that gas stations tend to have lots of cameras, right?
Generally, yes.
And generally they have lots of cameras because they can often be targets for robberies, things like that, right?
Correct.
And because people are constantly passing in and out of them, paying for a lot of gas, paying for a lot of merchandise, that means that they need cameras, right?
Correct.
At no point did you or any other officer, to your knowledge, try and find any camera footage from that gas station, right?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay. Would you agree with me that there are cameras at that gas station?
I believe there's cameras inside. I don't know about outside.
Okay. You didn't check whether there were any cameras outside?
I did not. It was 4 a.m. I was in charge of taking Mr. Bowers to the hospital. So I
Okay.
went from there to there.
But then after Mr. Bowers was taken to the hospital, you certainly had an opportunity at some point between September 20th and the present to go back to the gas station, right?
I could have, yes.
Okay. And between September 20th and the present, you, and to your knowledge, no other officer has gone back to the gas station, right?
Correct.
No one from your office, to your knowledge, has discerned whether or not that camera footage ever existed or whether it still exists, right? I'll call to the stand Amanda Reinhart.
Okay, ma'am. If you could please raise your right hand.
Okay. Good afternoon.
Hi,
Could you please state your first and last name, spelling your last name for the record?
Amanda Reinhart, Reinehart.
Miss Reinhart, what do you do for work?
I am an investigator for your office.
Okay. And is that the Office of the Public Defender?
It is
Okay. How long have you been an investigator for the Office of the Public Defender?
8 years.
Did you go there at some point on May 8th of 2026?
Yes,
Okay. And while you were there, did you go inside the gas station?
I did.
Did you speak with any employees?
More than one, yes.
Okay. Can you walk us through what those conversations consisted of?
Yep, I went inside. I asked a cashier if there was somebody I could speak to about the surveillance cameras outside. And she introduced me to, excuse me, a man named Dave, who was identified as a manager in the office in the back.
Did Dave tell you whether that footage did exist at one point?
He told me that it would no longer exist at the day that I was asking about it because it was retained for a maximum of 6 months.
Did you ask this manager, Dave, whether the cameras were in the same position as they were that day, as in September of 2025?
I don't think I used the verbiage "that position," but I did ask if the cameras were there in September, and he said they were.
So right now we have on the screen what has been marked as Defense Exhibit E, right?
Yes.
That is a photo of the Shell gas station in the Bowers case, right?
Yes.
Okay, we see over to the left that there is a utility pole, right?
Yes.
It looks like there's a Jeep parked behind that utility pole, right?
Yes.
And then going down from the top of the utility pole, more so toward where you took this photograph from, there's some wires going down to the ground, right?
Yes.
Those are called guy wires, right?
I have since learned. Yes.
Okay, me too. And those things that we've now learned are guy wires. They have a yellow coating, right?
Yeah, I think it's like a plastic tube over the wiring.
And based off of your review of the discovery, that seems to be the guy wire that the truck was stuck in September, right?
Yes.
Okay, I want to go to the next photo. Could you flip to the next one for me, please? Thank you. Okay, this photograph, which defense exhibit is this?
F.
Okay, defense F, that portrays the gas station, right?
Yes.
And specifically the cinder block building that a cashier would be inside, that the kind of convenience store would be inside, right?
Yes.
That's the building that you went inside to talk to gas station staff, right?
Right.
On the corner of the gas station, there are some cameras, right?
Yes.
We can see some floodlights that are underneath a U-Haul sign, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's underneath that U-Haul sign that there are some cameras, right?
Yes.
That is one of the cameras, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that one isn't quite facing the guy wire, but it is facing an entrance to the gas station, right?
I think it's facing the parking lot area, like where the guy wire is, but not necessarily facing the direction that would have like captured where the car was stuck.
Okay, so more like the parking lot area of the
Yes.
gas station. That's not the only camera though, right?
Right.
Can you go to the next photograph? Those are two other cameras, right?
Yes.
The one that is closest to the perspective of the camera, that one is facing in the direct opposite location of the guy wire, right?
This one is facing away and this one is facing towards.
Okay, perfect. And just for the record to reflect, it's the one near the top of the photograph that's facing away and the one more in the middle of the photograph underneath it that is facing, you said it's facing toward the guy wires?
This one is, yes.
Okay.
The white as opposed to the silverish.
Did there come a time that you stood underneath that camera to take a photograph to see what that camera would have captured?
Yes.
Is this a photograph taken underneath that camera that you just said was facing the guy wire?
Yes.
The police station staff said that they don't have any surveillance footage from September 20th because at that point it had already been automatically purged, right? My motion cites a variety of cases that say even if probable cause is a relatively low standard when compared to the proof beyond a reasonable doubt standard, the police cannot ignore obvious evidence of a person's innocence. Mr. Bowers, without any knowledge whatsoever, said that he was not the driver when it turned out that the reporting party also said that there was potentially an alternate driver. The reporting party described that person as Hispanic, not as African American. He described that person as thin, whereas the evidence that we have is that Mr. Bowers weighs 240 pounds. Mr. Brown said that the driver appeared to be tall The evidence on direct or cross-examination of Officer Adame is that Mr. Bowers is 5 feet 7 inches tall. Mr. Bowers did not have any blood on his person, no injuries whatsoever. He didn't have any bloody throw up on his person. What we saw in Defense Exhibit D was there is what appears to be blood coming from the driver's side seat. So the evidence seems consistent that there is just this alt suspect that the police in no way attempted to locate, in no way attempted to pursue. And that is not enough for a prudent person to be convinced that Mr. Bowers was the person that was driving that car. So I'm asking the court to find there was no probable cause and suppress the refusal.
There's a lot of evidence that would that was provided today that would have the court assume that he was the driver. I believe Mr. Nikon is pointing the court to a couple of the inconsistencies, but I think with the Ready reporters, Mr. Brown's accounts, what's important to note is that he noted it was 50-50 certain on a couple things. Officer Jones was the first to arrive on scene. And when Officer Jones arrived on scene, the reporting party hung up after noting that law enforcement arrived on scene and was watching the car the entire time. During that 911 call, dispatcher had told him to stay on the call because this individual in the car was actively trying to get away by spinning his tires. So I think that's the most important fact here is that we have from contact reporting party to law enforcement contact, an individual found, the only individual found on scene, and no statements suggesting on the scene that there was anybody else. But as we're looking at it now, as it stands for probable cause for arrest, when you're looking at the vehicle registered to him being the only individual in the vicinity, Officer Jones being the first to arrive on scene from a Ready report, certainly some matching descriptions from the Ready reporter and what was found on scene, I think that's plenty enough to have invoked probable cause.
Ready reporter, identified citizen informant, so his information is presumed to be reliable. That frankly cuts both ways. Cuts both ways for the prosecution as well as for the defense. So when he says something that is presumed to be reliable, doesn't need any corroboration. The Ready reporter stated on the call, and again, when he was speaking with Officer Jones, that he thought there were 2 people in the vehicle. In fact, at one point he says there were 2 guys getting out. I saw 2 guys getting out of the vehicle. So he seemed fairly certain that there were 2 individuals associated with this truck. And the question is whether or not there's probable cause for him to have been driving, because that's part of it. It's not just whether or not probable cause to believe he was impaired by or under the influence, and certainly the indicia of intoxication is typically what we talk about, and potentially roadside maneuvers, although none was given in this case. But that's factored into probable cause as to whether or not the person was under the influence or impaired. But there also has to be probable cause that the individual was driving. And probable cause is a totality of the circumstances test. It's all the circumstances. And in terms of Mr. Bowers being the driver, it is true that the truck was registered to him. That's uncontroverted testimony that the truck was registered to him. But there was no testimony that the vehicle or the truck was running when officers got there. No idea where the keys to the ignition were. But again, it's presumed reliable when the Ready reporter says he saw 2 people associated with the truck. And the description he gave of the driver, while arguably might be consistent with Mr. Bowers, because Mr. Bowers' shorts, and I saw in the video, they were very long, might be mistaken for jeans at a distance. And the dark colored sweater might be consistent with what Mr. Bowers was wearing and also blending into his skin color. But the description of the build does not match Mr. Bowers. Court finds that there was no probable cause that Mr. Bowers was the driver. Certainly probable cause that he was intoxicated, but I can't find there's probable cause that he was the driver. So, with probable cause not being established as to that, the defense motion to suppress is granted because I find there was no probable cause to invoke express consent because there was no probable cause to believe that Mr. Bowers was the driver.
Motion to dismiss.
Well, with the court's ruling on the motion to suppress, how do the people want to proceed with the case?
We will move to dismiss the case this time.
So that sort of takes care of that.
Sure.
All right, then, understanding the people's position after the court's ruling on the motion to suppress, case is dismissed on the motion of the district attorney and ordered sealed. Mr. Bowers is ordered released from custody as to the case, and the pretrial readiness and trial dates that we had set are vacated.
The judge ultimately finds there's probable cause that the defendant was intoxicated, but not that he was driving. And without that second finding, Colorado law doesn't allow the arrest, or the test that followed, to stand. The case is dismissed. Nobody ever checked the gas station cameras. By the time the defense investigator went looking, 8 months later, the footage was already gone.